Hello? Is the volume a-okay? By chance? I assume it should be good. I assume at the start. But yeah, I've watched this game 6 years or 5 years ago. And I remember it being such a good game, but I can't remember what happened. So I decided to just play it again. Urban legend. A mysterious story spread by word of mouth. Its origin is recent, but the rest is unknown. Go. Please. Forgive me. Edgar Morin. Kinda close to your voice, so I might lower the game volume by a bit. Got you. Would this be okay now? No, don't go auto. Oh man, oh well. Although people are afraid, they can't be helped but to be drawn. Wait, no, wait, why is it going auto? Wait, let's restart. I can't read if it just automatically goes. Autoplay. Standby duration. Yes. Let's start over. A bit better? Does it to be lower? I can lower it a bit more. Like that? Oh. SFX is a bit loud. It is? Okay. By a bit. Oh. You know what, let's figure this out first. There. Gulp. Please. Forgive me. Edgar Morin, a French folklorist, first used this term in the late 20th century. It was made popular by Jan Harold Brunvan. Forgive me. Please, don't kill me. Many of the stories seep into the minds of the people. Many of the stories seep into the minds of the people in the city, distorting their grasp on reality. Although people are afraid, they can't help but be drawn to it. That is one of the defining properties of an urban legend. Why are people intrigued by these stories when they lack any form of truth? No, 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 no. There is so much we still don't understand about the human mind. Please, I beg you. Sometimes it's connected to the darker side of the mind, such as fear and madness. Please, spare me. Don't move. And so it begins again. A chilling urban legend is born. Stop that, or else I can't carry them properly. Huh? Give me your eyes. Snip. Yabe. I have information pertaining the number of murder in Town C, Prefecture S. Order, defendant. You can only bring up information that is relevant to your case. The defendant had been completely silent up to this point. I have information pertaining to the murder in Town C, Prefecture S. Those words were enough to grant the defendant bail. At the same time, the media, who seemed to be uninterested in the case prior, began reporting like wildfire. Now everyone was interested in the case. And me. Okay. Kazuki. Well, we'll just name it this way. Because I can't put Shirouette now. Okay, this fix. Okay, why not? Hiro Kazuki, even though you've been living a quiet life, now you're gonna be mixed up with this madness. The car with the defendant, Sakimoto, pulls up. We can see that the defendant is very calm. It's too noisy and bright. I've had enough of the press. Hey, step on it. Relax, Kazamori. That's exactly what reporters want us to do. I know. Don't treat me like a rookie. But still, being a country boy and all, this crowd is too much for me. This is my senior, sitting across from me. Kazamori Hayato doesn't even try to hide his frustration. He always says what's on his mind. This comes off as truth to some. It's also what also gets him into trouble every so often. If he's my senior, I usually get dragged into his altercations too. Within the passenger seat, our chief, Kuroda Kunio, glances over at us with a smile. That's their job. All they want is the next big story, and that's why they try to annoy us. Enough with this journalism 101. How about treating me like an adult already? I am already in my 50s. You two are like my two cute little kids. Mr. Kuroda's always smiled at us. It was something that was both charming and frightening at the same time. Congratulations, Hiro. You've been adopted. No, I mean... yeah, thanks. Don't take it too seriously, jeez. You're too earnest. Relax, Kazamori. Take a deep breath like this. These dad jokes aren't working in your favor, sir. I guess this is where I stopped joking around there. During that conversation, I didn't even notice the man sitting next to me. Murderer! You should be ashamed of yourself. Execute him now! He wasn't fazed by their attacks. It was like he accepted everything they were shouting. I didn't say a word, but I was trying to get annoyed with all the flashes too. But I'm also scared. What if I'm at the center of those sneers and flashes someday? How could this man be so calm during all of this? Maybe he was expecting all of this commotion. Or maybe he's enjoying all of this. I could see a faint smile on his face when I glimpsed over at him. The defendant who was slain to another case during the trial is now leaving the Tokyo detention house as we speak. The defendant's name is Sekimoto Sojiro, 36 years old, a former university professor arrested for murder back in 2012. Sekimoto was arrested for suspicion of murdering one of his own lab students. Since then, he has exercised his right to remain silent. However, during the trial, a separate case came to light that caused quite the disruption, so the court was adjourned. Both the prosecution and the defense asked for a mental examination, which was approved by the court, allowing him to be put out on bail. From this point on, he will be examined by psychiatrists, and the results may greatly affect the outcome of his case. We could hear the reporter reading their script through the window. I felt bad for the reporters, but we had different plans. We broke away from the Tokyo detention house and picked up some speed once we hit the highway. The press chased after us in cars and motorcycles. There were even several helicopters in the air. Fortunately, just like we planned, we arrived at the back entrance of General Hospital M in Tokyo. Several police officers were waiting for us and quickly surrounded the car. Their job was to hide us from the press. Time to move. Sekimoto did as he was told, without saying a word. He acted like a model prisoner. Tutorial keyword. Sekimoto did as he was told quietly. He acted as a model prisoner, okay. A green effect will be displayed. Like this, when you encounter a keyword, keywords for cases will be acquired automatically during investigations. The uses of keywords will be explained later. But somehow, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to him. We continued down the elevator and went to the basement parking lot. There were a couple of men waiting for us with a new car. Car windows were heavily tinted, so no one could see what was inside. We were unable to switch cars quickly while the press was covering the back entrance. We then proceeded to the parking lot exit. We lost them. It's like a scene from one of those spy movies. That's 1 point on the scoreboard for us. Don't put down your guard, Kazamori. I know, but our mission has been accomplished, right? He said casually to Sekimoto in celebration, but Sekimoto didn't say a word. Hey, say something, Mr. Sekimoto. You had quite the intelligence to say such things. Sekimoto remained silent. He was unaffected by Kazamori's cheap taunts. Sekimoto's attitude started to anger Kazamori. Hey, are you deaf? We were working together for a while, so why don't we have a little chat? That's enough, Kazamori. You stay out of this. Sekimoto, anything you say here won't be used against you in court of law. They wouldn't believe us anyway. Kazamori, we don't have to stoop down to their level. Well, but it's the truth, isn't it? So just tell me already. Why did you decide to join our investigation? What are you hoping to gain by working with us? You're already looking at a death sentence or life in prison anyway. Sekimoto remained silent, refusing to acknowledge Kazamori. Well, one of the higher-ups must have been desperate. We've had a rough time with our investigations. That's why I guess they would send us to the likes of you. But listen up, murderer. Kazamori brings his face closer to Sekimoto's. Don't think you can fool us. Sekimoto remained silent. I was starting to respect his patience. Wow, this guy's boring. I'm not into men. What? What the hell was that? But you were the one who told him to talk. Very true, Shiro, but something bothers me as well. Unlike Kazamori, could have spoken in a gentle tone. This might be my intuition talking, but I don't think Sekimoto is the culprit. What do you mean? Most people who have committed a criminal act did so because something forced them, or they are obsessive. How do I put it? They usually have something dark about them, but I don't notice anything with him. What are you talking about, Kuroda? It's clear he's the culprit. This man was caught in the act. Yes, that's true. Sekimoto was arrested on site. Even our small department knew about that. Yeah, that's... As soon as the police was contacted, they headed for the university. By the time they arrived at the scene, Sekimoto was standing to the side silently. It was in an engine room on the second floor basement, an empty cold concrete room. Did you do this? But he didn't have to ask. It must have been quite unsettling. They said he was standing there, still holding the deadly weapon in his hands. At least, that's what it said on the report. The body slowly turning pale due to the large amount of blood loss. The blood stains on the victim were already drying, indicating that some time had already passed since the incident. The victim's heart was specifically targeted. It was clear that the murder was premeditated. But contrary to what one might expect, the murderer was just standing there. More police officers came in after the first one, discovered the scene, and arrested Sekimoto on site. He didn't resist or seem to be affected by this. He followed the authorities' orders with indifference and was taken to the nearest police station. Ever since then, he has remained silent. His lips remain sealed regardless of any question asked of him. Several detectives tried approaching him for questioning. They even threatened him, tried to force him into talking. And once in a while, they tried kind approach, but he never responded to their questioning. Yeah, up until the moment in court, with those words, he set off mass confusion and hysteria. Not so far off, Riku. Basically, a small recap. The introduction is they showcase like a murder with scissors, right? And talking about urban legends. And now we're going to we're a police officer, a detective, and we brought this person that's accused for murder out of there to help with our investigations. How do you know it's... I remember you mentioning your name is Shiro too. So I know. I have big memory. I glanced over at him. He had a cool expression on his face. Just like Kuroda said, he didn't look like a murderer. Kuroda is our superior. I wonder what he's thinking right now. Why did he bring up the murder in Town C? Prefecture asked. Something he has nothing to do with. I wonder why the higher-ups believed his statements and let him out on bail. While making sure I don't get noticed, I observe him closely. If he has even the slightest bit of information for us, it's no good. I'm not getting anything from him. He's so different from the others. You look like you want to ask me something. You only talk to women? What a womanizer. Go ahead, Shiro. Have your say. I wonder if he would give me straight answers, pondering that I... Do I try to annoy him? No, this guy's been annoying enough, right? I think I asked a question. This is my partner. The gauge displayed at the top right of the screen contains your courage points. Sometimes there are courage marks displayed next to your conversational options. You need courage points to select that option. You won't be able to select options with courage mark if you don't have any courage points left. Use these points wisely and gather as much information with your limited resources. Please note that which option you choose will affect the outcome of your story. Yeah, I'm gonna ask a question. I don't want to annoy him. I think it's dumb decision. Voice my doubts. So why did It appears that I am a distant relative of some official working the prosecutor's office who has ties to this case. Maybe you guys didn't know. They must be clutching at straws, wanting to solve this case. That startled me. How did he know what I was thinking? Branch tree, okay. There's a feature called branch tree. You can use it from the system menu. It's also available from scene selection on title screen. Your story progress will be displayed in lines and icons. The branch tree will be updated automatically and also applied to the second playthrough. You can also jump to different sections of the branch tree. With this, you can start playing from any scene you've played previously. Simply tap the icon of the section you want to revisit to start playing from there. Please note that once you select a scene in the past, all game programs and keywords past that point will be lost. Naruhodo. After I made my statement in court at the Tokyo Detention House, the warden approached me to verify my statement, and this is what he proposed. He said, if you promise to cooperate and give them information, we can lower your sentence. Plea bargaining. Tutorial FOAF database. Important terminologies will appear during gameplay. For example, plea bargaining. This will be registered into the FOAF database. You can check your registered terminology whenever you want from database located in the system menu. There can be up to 22 items in the database depending on the blah 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 blah. Plea bargaining. But that's illegal in Japan. That means the warden must have some strong connections helping him. Correct, so I set 3 conditions. I should be allowed to visit the crime scenes, and that Shiro Kazuki would be put in charge of my case. What? Me? Why? I could only respond confused to the sudden mention of my name. But what's that last condition? You've only mentioned 2. They have to let me get to the bottom of the rumors surrounding the Tokyo Detention House. The rumor that there's a criminal on a death row here that won't die. Who the hell is that? Considering my profession, I just had to know. I'm a university professor that studies folklore, urban legends to be precise. So, what was the warden's response? He said, I will give you anything you want as long as you prove your worth. So that's why I decided to give my statement in court. Callers like this are beyond my comprehension. The word nerd comes to mind. So why did you choose me? You're not used to getting approaches from men? Give me a straight answer. I don't mind getting scolded by a woman, other than that there's no apparent reason. I just read about you in a magazine. It said that there was a beautiful detective was working at the station that has jurisdiction over Town C. What will you do now, Shiro? A murderer's interested in you. That's not my intention. If it was, wouldn't I say that I fall in love with you? Sekimoto's loosening up. Maybe he's trying to catch us off guard through some casual conversation. He's so hard to read. I'd better not take the bait, so I decided to keep a straight face. No offense, but I don't think the higher-ups fully trust you yet. Smirk appears on Sekimoto's face. Are you trying to use the same strategy on me now? No, I'm not joking around. Can you elaborate in that case? Do you require proof? The reason I want proof is because we're responsible for you now. Isn't the reason because you 3 are very capable detectives? That's a good one. What a comedian. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but this isn't really our thing. Our areas of expertise are not in murder, burglary, or sex crimes. What are you in charge of then? We are the Special Law Enforcement Unit. Special Law? Sekimoto's face darkened a little. This was the first time he actually listened to us. The official name is the Special Law Enforcement Unit of Town C, Prefecture S. What a long name. It was created to help support our divisions. Our job is to verify evidence. To support investigations, our responsibility is allocating personnel to handle each specific issue and find the best fit for each department to increase their efficiency. At the same time, our department manages past cases, analyzes data on current cases, and preserves evidence from past unsolved cases. Do you understand? In other words, you're a worthless division. They call on you when they're too busy and need help filling in the gaps. You don't mince your words, do you? But I guess in a top-down organization like ours, we are the only department that goes side to side. We get all sorts of information. Anyway, because of the stun you pulled back at court, you're with us now. In other words, you're stuck with us because we couldn't refuse. I feel bad for telling him that he ended up with us because he was useless. But it's better if he understands the situation as it is. Takimoto went silent. I couldn't tell if he was disappointed or if he just lost interest. Azamori was looking at him too, with a face that seemed to say, "Not what you expected, huh?" I see. So we're a group of detectives, washouts, and a troublesome defendant. It's turning out to be interesting. After driving 2.5 hours, we arrive at our destination at Town C, Prefecture S. We took Sakimoto to an underground cell. Look, we prepared a special suit just for you. Do you like it? Why, thank you. Hiro, can you give him the rundown? Absolutely, this place is your new home. You'll be in handcuffs whenever you leave your cell. This is a special procedure for these unusual times. Only a handful of people know about you. We don't plan on giving you any special privileges. On the record, you are receiving a psychiatric evaluation at the local hospital, so we also scheduled you one as formality. If we decide you no longer serve a purpose, you'll be sent back to Tokyo even if the investigation is still ongoing. Evaluation. What happened to my tongue there? Now, get in. Takimoto enters his cell without any complaints. This place seems nice. I can faintly smell something sweet. It smells like tangerine, or... We were told to get as much information out of you as we can for this investigation. We don't have time for your chit-chat. That's fine. Time waits for no one. You have to hurry before another person dies. Not a victim. I don't like the sound of that. Oh man, do I be sarcastic or do I blame? Hard choices. Am I gonna blame him for not helping us? There could be another murder. Or do I be sarcastic? I don't get how I'll be sarcastic in this situation. Ah, that won't happen. Or totally. How many points do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do I want to blame him? I kind of don't want to do that. But it does give pressure as well. Now we'll be sarcastic. I think that there's better, important things. You talk like you can see the future. Are you going to test me then? Just like they did back in the Meiji period. Time is pressing and I'll hand you some case files first. I pass him the documents through the bars. What I've just handed to you is the summary of what we have on what happened in Town C, Prefecture S. Takimoto leafed through the documents while he listened. He stopped on one particular photograph. It's a picture of a deceased naked man. He was found in a valley near here. Particular about this one was the way he was murdered. Both his eyes were gouged out by a big pair of scissors. I assume that was the guy in the intro. What's more disturbing was that all his teeth were pulled. pulled out. We haven't been able to find any other peculiarities about the body, so we have nothing to identify him with. Because he was found naked, he also didn't have any belongings on him. No traces of past surgery either. Currently, this person has no name. This is too much. What? Even a person like you has to avert his eyes? A couple people have been reported missing in the same area at the same time. We couldn't link them to the victim. That about sums it up. We don't know what to do anymore. And then, like a ray of light, your testimony appears. So I want to hear your opinion on this matter, Mr. Sakimoto. I showed him respect by addressing him with Mr. because I felt it was necessary for what I was about to say. I want you to start from the beginning. Do you really have information critical to this case? He looked me in the eyes. I stared back at him, making sure he knew that he couldn't run from my question. It's clear you don't believe me. I wasn't expecting a question that came from the same question as the premise. Yes or no, answer me. But of course. Without sounding accusing, I tried to get what I needed. You have information that will lead us directly to the murderer. I do. And let's get straight to the point. Tell us who the murderer is or give me some conclusive information. It's Blind Man. Huh? I didn't expect him to sound so confident. This was the first time I've ever heard the name Blind Man. He sensed that I was getting irritated. I started to sense he was getting irritated. That's not what we're after. Don't play us for a fool. I'm not joking, I assure you. No one uses this method. It's Blind Man. Are you mocking us? He's asking you who the murderer is. Blind Man is Blind Man. Nothing more, nothing less. What's up with this guy? I'm both irritated and disappointed. The atmosphere affected the whole prison. Do you know what I specialize in? Enough, Mr. Kuroda. Let's send him back to Tokyo. We're wasting our time. I agree. Even if we are the slew, we don't need a useless man like this. Blind Man is a fictional character that appears in an urban legend. He attacks people who walk the streets alone at night. He's a phantom that uses scissors to take his victims' eyes. No one knows who he really is. People also have named him the Light Villager because of his peculiar method of killing. Like he was in a hurry. He started getting very talkative. Listening to his grating voice filled me with rage. I really wanted to take down his facade. He was hiding behind a detached attitude, and I wanted to expose who he really was. So I decided to challenge him. Just wait for your trial to continue, you murderer. I'm not lying to you. You should listen to my words a little more carefully. Hype song. Ah, this is so good. Figure out Sakimoto's true intentions. What? For real, okay. Chapter 1. Liar's Art is a special ability. You can choose to lie to your opponent or deceive your opponent in this one-on-one dialogue to either gather the information you need or to get out of a hairy situation. When you're using Liar's Art, you can choose from keywords. Using one of these keywords within the time limit will make your character say something with that keyword at its core. You can also decide to say nothing. That will be explained later. Why don't you give it a try? Please note that you cannot use the system menu during Liar's Art. What's wrong? Did I hurt your feelings? I'm enjoying talking with you. It didn't hurt my feelings at all. Although I'm a little disappointed with his answers. I figure out what he wants. Better say something back to him next time. Oh no! Oh no! Depending on how the person reacts to your choice, the needle on the right will move towards doubt or trust. This gauge stands for the person's state of mind. The closer the gauge is to trust, the better the situation is going. Story progression, how many courage points you recover will be decided according to the final outcome for Liar's Art. Please note that the outcome flyer's art scenes will be used in calculating your final rank at the end of the game. Consider the nature of each person and the circumstances before you make your decision. Didn't I say that more people would die if we don't hurry? We don't have time to go along with your hysteria. What? I ran out of time. That can be powerful sometimes. Your anxiety is palpable. He's smiling as if he's satisfied, even though I was trying to aggravate him. What can I do to get his attention? Staying quiet isn't doing me any favors. I better say something, anything. What will you do? Will you listen to me, or will you send me back to Tokyo? It's your call. Please make a decision already. Do you want something from us? Tell me the truth. I do. I want to find out the truth. But I think it's close to impossible with my current situation. If we continue like this, we won't be able to catch Blind Man. So you're saying you want us to proceed with the investigation your way, am I right? Precisely. I'm happy to have such a smart detective by my side. You know, that's satisfied. I guess this time I said what he wanted to hear. But why are you so obsessed with Blind Man? You should question him about this. Why are you so obsessed with Blind Man? It's none of your business. It's personal. I want you to tell me something personal. I'm trying to understand you. No detective or prosecutor has said anything like that before. All they do was treat me with suspicion since the beginning of the murder case. I'm sorry to hear that, really. Maybe we can work on the same team. That sounds nice. I haven't had such a warm conversation in a long time. I'm panicked. He seemed relieved. Not a bad reaction. I hope he opens up and shares what he knows. Now, tell me what you want. I want to hear you say it. All I want from you is to listen to me carefully. You don't want blah blah blah. Mutual, you know. Alright, but you have to listen to what I have to say too. Otherwise, it could be used against you in court. I don't care about my trial, but I agree with your suggestion. What do you mean you don't care? What if they decide you're guilty? Are you worried about me? Why, how thoughtful of you. Well, this has gotten a bit awkward. This man is strangely ignorant to his own case, but I feel like him more when he's cooperative. Well, we're back to square one. It's up to us to decide what to do next. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, I'm just enjoying our conversation. It's the first time I'm enjoying myself since my arrest. Enjoying? Do you even know what you're saying? Of course. I think we'd make a great duo. I'll be nice to you. Let's work together. Are you looking down on me? Okay, Shiro. Not about that right now. Solve the murder. That's enough, Shiro. Don't get too riled up, but... yeah, okay, remember. We're in no position to decide what to do with him. You should have known better, Kazamori. Why didn't you stop earlier? I just... No matter how frustrating he was, or if he turned out to be a waste of time, we weren't the ones who would determine his fate. Shirouette kept trying to point that out to us. I don't know what to say. I've been listening to all your gabbing, and it seems like we have something in common. Good to know. Just remember one thing. We are the slew. We do things the right way. My offenses may look a little gruff, but they're good people, so let's cooperate with each other. But I can't do this alone. Well, alright. You two shake hands and let's forget this ever. I hate you, Kuroda. That's not how things work. I'm gonna have to refuse, no offense, but I think I might catch something if I touch this guy. Don't be so childish, come on, Kazamori. Same here. Not being the boss, huh? Don't worry about me. Anyway, let's sum this up. With more direct information, Blind Man won't do any good here. That's different from Slender Man. If you want to hear a full story, it'll take us 2 hours. Never mind then. Anyway, how about we make this a win-win situation? Before you found the murderer's calling card, give me your eyes. Blind Man always uses this before committing a murder. Alright then, let's start from that lead. Shiro, Kazamori. Excuse me, sir. I can't believe you're falling for his lies. I don't think it's smart to trust him. I think we should report this back to HQ and tell them that the mad killer interrupted the investigation for a vacation. We need to send him back. Vacation? Last time I checked, he was in a cell. That's not the point, Baldy. Yeah, well, Kuroda skillfully dodged Kazamori's questioning. I see. Well, you guys did a good job. I'll be getting back to the office. See you two there. I owe you guys one. We got news from CSI. They've uncovered some new information on the victim. We headed to the cell, back to the office. When we arrived at the Special Law Enforcement Unit office, I saw someone waiting for us. This place is still a mess. It's always so tiring coming back here. This place is like a dungeon. Don't be like that. You really know the situation here. Fine. But how about we call it the useless department? Her name is Tajibana Mizuzu. We graduated together from the same police academy. He works for the Prefecture S Crime Scene Investigation Department 1. That's a mouthful. Tajibana was one of the top students in her class. She used to work at the main police headquarters, but because of this case, she was sent here to Town C. Hazuki, you need to get transferred out of that division as fast as you can. That division is career suicide. You're a feisty one. I think you and Kazamori will get along real well. How about joining our team? I kindly decline, sir. I'd rather stick with the forensics. I came here to offer my assistance to the slew with the investigation because of my friend. Don't get the wrong idea on why I'm here. I see, straight to the point. I like that. Frankly, I didn't like her attitude, but I know she meant well. She just doesn't like wasting her time taking care of others. Give me a break, Mizuzu. Let's get to the point. What have you found out about the victim? I finished identifying the body. While she was speaking, she placed a document on the table. The victim's name is Tamura Kotaro. He was male, 35 of age. He worked at a local bank on the edge of town. The first investigation division is still investigating, but I'm positive about the identity. We sent his DNA to the Kasuken crime lab for testing. Impressive work. Weren't all the other victims unidentifiable to their teeth being pulled out? Don't underestimate the CSI. We can uncover everything. Or anything. They found conclusive evidence that showed there was tiny fabrics found underneath his nails. When we placed them into the mass analyzer, we found something unusual. What did you find? The fabric isn't commonly available. When we compared the data in our database, we found a match. What do you think it was? We just stood there staring blankly at her. She knew exactly what she was doing. All she wanted was us to say, we don't know. The fibers were from a wrapper that is used for binding new bills, which are only used at Japanese banks. This material was different from the usual wrappers used at local banks. There were only a handful of banks that used those types of wrappers, so we narrowed down our search for missing persons that had any connection with those banks. And that's how you linked the body. Nice work. No matter the amount of evidence, it can still be found conclusive, just like this case. Mizuzu looked around the room proudly. The fact that she identified the victim with little to no evidence, she gleamed with accomplishments. So this means it's time to start investigating the victim's background. Correct. And it appears we won't be needing Sekimoto's assistance. Well, I don't think it's gonna be that simple. What do you mean, Shiro? Sekimoto mentioned that there might be more victims later on. I remember a series of arguments with him that really irritated me. He still might be hiding something. You seem quite supportive of him, but weren't you the one arguing with him previously? My stomach churned as Kuroda pointed out my contradiction. It was true that whenever Sekimoto spoke, it filled me with rage. That's true, but this is a different matter. If there was a possibility of another crime, we're the only ones who can stop it. The first investigation division has their hands full now with the Tamura case, and can't afford to allocate any more resources. And if that's the case, Slew is the only one who can handle the upcoming crimes. Even if what Sekimoto said turns out to be false, at least there won't be any more victims. Are you referring to the murderer? It sounds like you need to get some more information out of him then, but I'll leave that task to you. Be honest, I don't want to give him any more crazy ideas. That guy's crazy. By the way, what did the labyrinth demon tell you? He said the murderer is Blind Man. The same one from the famous urban legend. Okay, so that's him. Let's referring to that guy. Kimoto. Wow, are you serious? Sounds like he's trying to make a fool out of you. It's time you step up your game, Slew. I couldn't argue with her. Maybe Sekimoto really was just making a fool out of us. Or maybe he's still trying to hide some valuable information. It might be a good idea to use the information provided by Mizuzu as bait, but it wouldn't be a good idea for Mizuzu and Sekimoto to meet face to face. I could already tell that these two would tear each other apart. I will not ask this, right? Because there'll just be an argument of ego. Let's meet Sekimoto. I can visit Sekimoto's as well. Maybe we could get some new information out of him. With such expectations, we headed back to his cell. Back so soon? I thought you despised me. This isn't a personal visit. This visit is strictly business. Well, of course. Who's she? Are you not a member of this department? Oh no. Oh no, she's here as well. Oh no. I've never seen you around here before. The name's Mizuzu, and I'm part of the CSI department. Wow, how delightful. I never thought such a woman from Tokyo Detention House would come talk to me. Isn't this a treat? Man, he's kinda a creep, no? Careful, Mizuzu. This one has a silver tongue. I know. Hey, I wanted to ask you something. That blind man is connected to the murder investigation in Town C, correct? That's correct. We uncovered the identity of the victim. Do you know the identity of that blind man? What are you getting at? Mizuzu's lips were smiling. That meant she was about to mock him. This wasn't a good sign. My job is analyzing the many different articles at the crime scene. That means I don't work with bullshit like you. Victims aren't created by rumors. Hey Shiro, I think something is about to happen. Kazamori whispered anxiously. I just remember that she really detests mysticism. She said she doesn't believe those sorts of things. I should have cut their conversation short before it got too heated. Mizuzu, I think that's enough for today. Don't you still have some work to do? But rumors tend to cause fear and calamity. I don't think I am worthless. So this incident was caused by a mysterious creature from an urban legend? Mizuzu was heated. She's going at him with super aggression. Mysterious creature? But there are people out there who believe in it. You can't deny this. Even though this whole thing is illogical and lacks reason, there are plenty of psychological and scientific reasons for why people believe it. Oh really? But we aren't here for a lecture. We aren't criminals like you. You're just ignoring the truth because you're so obsessed with your physical, concrete data. Alright, knock it off you two. It's not worth it, Mizuzu. Oh, this wasn't anything. We were just having normal conversation. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope we can continue the discussion at a later time, when you have more free time. Of course, I look forward to it. That's such a lie. The two exchanged smiles. I might not be the only one who was frightened by this. Well, that's not great. Mizuzu said she was gonna get back to work and return back to the crime lab. As soon as she left, we received a call from the chief of the first investigation division, asking for us to bring anyone who knew the victim, Tamura Kotaro. Normally it would be the member of the investigation team's job, but they had their hands full at the moment. As soon as they sent over the information of the individuals, Kazamori and I went to question the people on the list. Thank you for your cooperations, Minase Haruka. Sure, did I do something wrong? It wasn't unreasonable for this woman in her 20s to be a little uneasy. I tried to put on a friendly face so she wouldn't feel intimidated. I understand that you're nervous. This must be your first time paying this place a visit, right? I just want to talk. Talk? Yeah, you've heard of the recent murder that occurred in this town a couple days ago, right? I wanted to ask you about Tamura Kotaro. Sure, but how did you know I knew him? Sorry, we can't divulge that kind of information. Just think of it as a result of good police work. She seemed frightened by the information we collected. That made me suspicious. Maybe she knew something. That's great. Let's get straight to the point. How do you know the victim? I met him at the university I attended. We met by coincidence. I met him in front of the Office of Literature. He was looking for a faculty member, but from that moment, we became friends. Do you know why and who he was looking for? All I remembered that he was looking to settle some sort of debt. He came by to let the person know that they owed him money. It seemed that Tamura was pressing too hard. He was too persistent, and in the end, the faculty member never showed up to work, most likely out of fear of him. So Tamura came there on work-related business. Can you describe your relationship with Tamura? We were just friends. My university friends often mistook us for lovers. But it wasn't like that, definitely not. Honestly, I was a bit scared. Haruka drew back. To me, this might have been a sign that she may have been involved in Tamura's murder. Scared? How so? How can I put it into words? He was very brutal. He's kind of overly friendly, but he would also try to touch me like we were dating. It probably was because you were a very attractive young woman. Even if he hit me? Wait, what? Wait, what did you just say? I said he hit me. That's domestic violence, right? DV. Domestic violence. This term is commonly used for violence that happens within the family. In recent years, it has become a much bigger social problem, but the police surprisingly haven't done much on intervening with the issue. Haruka looked over me, giving me a pleading look. I could tell from her eyes that she had worried about this situation for some time. Please relax, Miss Haruka. You have nothing to worry about now. But take a look at this. No, even the wisecracking Kazamori was left speechless. We could see a bruise that was still swollen on her neck. Did Tamura do that? Haruka nodded hesitantly. Her eyes began to swell up with tears. No wonder she tried to cover it up with her hair. Haruka, that must have been difficult. I understand how you must have felt during that time. You must have been so angry when it happened. If I was in your situation, I would have filed a criminal complaint. That makes two of us. But I still file a report now. Unfortunately, Tamura is dead. You can still file a report, but you won't get an apology from him anytime soon. I'm really sorry for what happened, but that's not gonna help you. Haruka bit her lip and slammed the desk. She released an eruption of pent-up anger. I sympathized with her, but at the same time, I had my doubts. She had plenty of motives to have wanted Tamura dead. Could you give me more details, Miss Haruka? Can you tell me where you were at the time of Tamura's death? Excuse me, what do you mean? Exactly what I just said. Do you have an alibi? Do you have any witnesses that can verify this? Wait, are you accusing me of murder? That's not what we are doing. We're just going through protocol. I didn't do it. Isn't that enough? We need more specific information than that. See? You're treating me like a suspect. If you really didn't do anything, then you can prove your innocence, right? Kazamori backed me up. He tried to be nice, but I could tell that he was just as suspicious of her as I was. So, just tell us where and what you were doing at the time of Tamura's death. I don't want to talk about it. Haruka, you're putting yourself in a difficult position if you do this. I said I don't want to talk about it. You said this was voluntary, right? If that's so, then this conversation is over. What the hell are you hiding? Nothing. I didn't do, okay? Just leave me alone. She suddenly became hysterical, and we were powerless to stop her. After Kuroda came in with a bitter look on his face, he ordered us to finish up questioning, and we were forced to send her home. Well, what was she doing? Looks like we jackpot with our first person. Kazamori. That kind of conclusion will hinder the investigation. I know, but didn't you see how she reacted? And she even refused to give us her alibi. She has to know something. Don't you agree, Shiro? I agree with Kazamori. She's definitely hiding something. She has a solid motive too. I know she's involved with this case. What do you think, old man? If we play our cards right, we can use it to our advantage. There's no reason for a hasty decision. We still have more people we still need to question. Let's make our final decision after we hear out the rest of the possible suspects. Let's get back to it. Our next visitor is waiting. Kuroda hurried us along as if we were working at a restaurant getting ready for lunch rush. Who's next? The owner of the local brewery. Ah, you mean him. The second person we interrogated today was Tsunahori Masaharu, the owner of the local brewery. For generations, his family has made traditional alcohol in Town C, and is very popular among the locals. Their brewery was a very popular spot for the local police officers. Mr. Tsunahori is a confident artisan alcohol brewer. It's not an exaggeration to say that they make the most delicious sake every year, in the spirit of craftsmanship. I felt bad we had to interrogate him. Hey, Tsunahori. Still stiff as always, how's work? That time again where we have to start preparing for this year's new batch. This means you have nothing to do until your rice crop finishes growing, right? In that case, let's take this slow, shall we? Unlike you, I'm not a smooth. Unlike you, I'm not a smooth talker. Like you. The translation. At the moment, my brain is swimming with work. If you don't mind, can we keep this short? Direct as usual. I think you're lying about being busy, because I heard from a reliable source that business has been pretty slow for you at night. Not as much as you. Hey Shiro, I'm getting a feeling he doesn't like me. I think I'll leave this to you. I had a bad feeling about this. Tsunahori already looked annoyed. It must have been from calling him on a such short notice. I wanted to start out the interrogation with a calm atmosphere, so I tried to talk in the calmest manner I could. Mr. Tsunahori, thanks for coming in on such a short notice, even with your busy schedule. Let's cut the formalities and get to the point. You don't know about Tamura, right? Ah, yes. Something told me that it was gonna be difficult. I could barely gain the upper hand. Mrs. Tsunahori, tell me about your relationship with Tamura. He was the person put in charge of our case at the bank. He approved of our loan. But recently, he changed his stance. Can you elaborate on that? Have you heard of the loan retrieval? I'm not a loan expert, so could you please explain what that is briefly? It is when a loan is abruptly cancelled and must be paid back immediately. Small to medium-sized companies usually can't afford to run their business alone. So that's why they borrow money from the bank to cover the rest of their expenses and pay back only a small percentage of the loan every month. This is a cycle and companies stay in, that let companies stay in business. But if they're suddenly forced to pay their loan, their lifeline will be cut off and forced to shut down. I'm reminded that I had to pay back the entirety of the loan immediately. When did this happen? It happened about 3 weeks before he died. He said the bank regulation had changed, and they were making more thorough business evaluations. So what did you do? You didn't rush him or anything, did you? Of course not. I'm not the kind of person. Nico and I did pay him a visit at the bank, though, where we tried pleading with him. Guess what that bastard said to us? Okay, this guy's a bastard, apparently. Domestic violence and now this? He's not liked at all. Kazamori and I exchanged looks at each other. It must have been bad. Without interjecting, I just waited for Tsunahori to continue. That bastard said if I wanted a loan retrieval to disappear, I should get down and beg. So what did he do? I did what he told me. I got on my knees and begged. I'll never forget how humiliating that was. However, he didn't do what he promised. He then tried to force me to sell my land to pay back the loan. I couldn't find the right words to say. I started to lose all sympathy for the victim, Tamura. Yeah, honestly. He wasn't really going to withdraw the loan retrieval. At that moment, I really did want to kill him. You wanted to kill him? Wait, you didn't actually. Both Kazamori and I reacted to this abrupt words that revealed a motive. Kanahori quickly realized what he just said. He then cleared his throat and readjusted himself. Don't get me wrong, I was only thinking about it. I didn't actually go through with it. But Tamura was murdered. What happened to your loan retrieval? I don't know. We were assigned a new person by the bank. By the way, we didn't know that Tamura was the victim, remember? I know it might take some time before we have to start paying back the loan. It should be a while, right? Mr. Tsunahori, what were you doing at the time of Tamura's death? I was with my family. We were spending some time together at our home. I see. We'll check to see if your alibi holds up, if that's okay with you. Do as you wish. I still can't believe he made you get on your knees and beg. I just would have lost it. That alone would be enough for a motive for revenge. Someone, I think you're taking this a little too far. Hey, what are you implying, kid? Calm down, Tsunahori. Tsunahori immediately reacted to the words that just left Kazamori's mouth. He grabbed Kazamori by the collar and stared right into his eyes. Hey, you take it easy. You know you're assaulting a government official, right? You are the one who's treating me like a murderer. Now get off, both of you. You wanna go? I'll never buy drinks from your place again. Fine by me. I don't waste our precious alcohol on the likes of you anyways. What did you say? You wanna spend a night locked up in a cell? You wanna get banned from other bars as well? What? You bastard. Bring it on, bitch. You bastard. You two. Both of them were acting like children. They were acting like two angry cats during mating season. Hey Shiro, say something. What, me? Whose side are you on? Can you tell this punk cop to back off? What should I do? How am I gonna break this up? I'm not gonna spend my courage meter for this blabber nonsense. That's enough. You two are grown men, for goodness sake. Shiro. Now sit your asses down. Are you out of your minds? This is a police station. That's right. You tell him. Same goes for you too, Kazamori. Do you want to do your work and lock up tonight? Hey, I'm sorry. And you, Tsunahori, you're the owner of a famous brewery. You shouldn't have fallen for his childish jabs. Yeah, you're right. Now, you two shake hands, come on now. You know, that's not how things work. The two men shook hands forcefully, just as if I was controlling them. Fantastic. I'm so sorry for all the trouble my husband caused. No, we are the ones who should be sorry, ma'am. The woman apologizing was Tsunahori's wife, Tsunahori Yuko. During the interrogation and commotion, someone must have called her asking for a visit. Yuko and I kept apologizing to each other for a while. Right next to the woman was the boy, Tsunahari Satoshi, but he didn't seem to know what was going on. That's enough, Yuko. He was the one who started it. Honey, give it a rest, Shiro. We'll prove he's guilty once we verify his alibi. You speak too much. By the way, I was just chewed out a moment ago by my superiors, thanks to you, Kazamori. Yeah. Kazamori mumbled an apology under his breath. At this very moment, if I was in his shoes, I would have issued an apology just like a normal person would. Anyway, a young owner of the brewery has a motive, and so does Minase Haruka. Correct. It doesn't seem like Tamura was a nice guy while he was alive. A grudge is a good motive too. Well, I don't know, if it continues at this rate, at the rate you're going, we're going to have a lot of people with motives. Well, there's one more. Let's hear what the kid has to say, okay? A kid? How old are they? Well, yeah, please don't consider the incident, alright? My division can't take any more criticism. Kuroda left the room to get the next person for the interrogation. Shortly after, a young girl showed up. Nice to meet you. The pleasure is all mine. Wait a minute, is this the right person? I thought this person was in charge of the welfare facility. Sensing on what I just said, the girl seemed to get embarrassed. Yes, it is her. Is your name? My name is Makimura Sanae. Nice to meet you. How could such a young lady be involved with a guy like Tamura? It can't be the same kind of relationship as Haruka's, right? To be exact, she's a representative. Right now, she's the only staff member who was available. What's that supposed to mean? No more questions. Now do your job and keep that in mind when you interrogate her. I'm counting on you too. He laughed. Kazamori gestured over to me as if he was handing her off to me. He was acting like he didn't care about this whole situation. Why are all men in the slough so worthless? I turned my head towards her with a sigh. My name is Shiro, and that guy over there is Kazamori. It's nice to meet you. So, you've heard of the recent incident that happened in town a couple of days ago, right? Yes, I've heard about it. But I haven't been watching the news lately. We've identified the victim. His name is Tamura Kotaro, and work at the local bank. Do you know who this man is? No. Are you sure? No, I've never met him before, sorry. How's this possible? Why would she be here if she didn't know who he was? I had a feeling something annoying was about to happen. I glanced over at Kazamori, but he pretended not to notice. So frustrating. I think maybe Tamura had a relationship with the chief director. He was the one who called him. All I can tell you is that is what I overheard. Will that be okay? It'll be fine. Anything you can tell us will be helpful to the investigation. Tanai gathered her thoughts and started talking again. The facility I've been working for was hurting financially. I think that's why the chief director has a connection with the victim. We had some problems with payroll as well, but it seems to be fixed now. It was mostly to do with most of our superiors resigning. So why are you still working there? In order to pass the national exam for my career as a care worker, I needed to have experience working for a company. That's why I stayed. I see. She'd be a good nurse. I could sympathize with her situation, but she could have easily found a new job. Another thing that bothered me was that care workers were high in demand at the moment. She said that she didn't know Tamura, so I decided to try to see if it was really true. You said you've never met Tamura before, but do you dislike the man? Pardon? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. He was the one who rejected the loan request, causing all financial problems at your facility. This was directly connected to the issue involving payroll, wasn't it? I guess. I never thought about it that way. It was true that we were going through a hard time, not being paid and all. But they still gave us a place to live and warm meals. That's admirable of you. It's rare to find that these days. Thanks, I guess. That must have been pretty rough. If you ever need anything, my number... Kazamori, we're not allowed to disclose personal information. I'm not doing anything shady. You're such a stickler, jeez. The culprit is still out there. You have to be scared, right? Yeah, to be honest, there are only females left working at our facility. Kazamori, it's a bad idea to mix your personal life and your professional life and personal life together. Plus, this interrogation isn't over yet. Kanai, can we ask you one more question? Yes, of course. What was your chief director doing today? We have some questions we would like to ask him if that's okay. I'm afraid that'll be impossible. Is he a busy person? He committed suicide. I think the money problems got to him, and he killed himself. At least his insurance money was helping keep our facility open for a while longer. Suicide? Yes. The director sacrificed his own life to save the facility. Her face was hard to read. Kazamori and I didn't know how to respond to what she just said. Suicide, I see. It's indeed a complicated situation. While he was speaking, Kuroda started writing something on the whiteboard. Tamura, the victim, 3. Oh wait, the victim. 3 other people were interrogated. Haruka, Tsunahori, and Sanae. So how should we interpret the situation? It was clear to say that no one liked Tamura. I know everyone has their own issues, but this guy just seemed bad. Out of the 3, I think we can all agree that Tsunahori has the biggest motive here. But didn't you see the bruises on Haruka's neck? She must have wanted revenge. So nothing on Makimura Sanae. He seems to have no motive. She also wouldn't have gained anything from Tamura's death. I wish I could have talked to her before the director committed suicide. Kuroda nodded, but just stood there holding the tip of the marker against the whiteboard. Couldn't decide how to summarize all of this. It's no use. I can't make out any of this. Shiro, what's your opinion on the matter? Huh? Me? Yeah, tell us your opinion on how all these pieces fit together. There must be something that we're missing. Alright, go ahead. Kuroda handed me a marker, and I went over to the whiteboard with my arms crossed. Something might be dug up from the relationship between the victim, Tamura, and the others. I started writing anything that came to mind. I drew a simplified diagram that was in my head. There was hardly enough space on the whiteboard to write everything down. The whole picture that was in my head was tutorial, inference logic. Some keywords related to the case have been collected. These keywords will be used in inference logic. Select inference logic from the system menu. Use inference logic mode whenever you want. Inference logic is a logical circuit board that summarizes the case. Basic characters that will be included automatically. Use the keywords to fill in the blanks within characters and major events. And there's a final check upon the completion of the case. It can be used to calculate your final grade. The list of keywords available in the blank will be displayed. Tap the keyword you want and tap it again to confirm your selection. Information on the character will be displayed. Once you tap the character panel, use this during the investigation. Now let's summarize the situation with inference logic. You may leave some blank if you didn't find the right keyword. You can update this information anytime or as soon as you collect more keywords. Once you're finished, tap back button and close the screen. Definitely get down and back, right? Summer retrieve loan from Sunahori. Rush Tamura, no. Got down the stairs and back. Hold a grudge. I think all of this will lead to a grudge, right? I think matters is that he's a loan retrieval, I think. Yeah. Banker, okay. And with this, Makimura didn't know Tamura. She didn't really have a grudge, no? Tamura's insurance money? No. No, definitely not. Thank you, Will. I think she just didn't know, right? The thing is, like, she committed, what's it called? He committed suicide, chief director, right? And the welfare gets to live, pretty much. And I think the insurance, I think it's from financial problems, right? Is it like his remaining money, or is it from the bank? Like, does the bank pay off like fees for his suicide? Right? That could be a thing. But okay, so this guy's loan got cancelled. Maybe this guy's loan got cancelled to get money quickly to pay off this person's suicide, pretty much. Maybe, I don't know. And this definitely grudge, you know. Between domestic violence and all that, he definitely hates his guts. But I don't think that she killed him. Mainly because of her reaction when we told her he's dead, you know. She's shocked with anger that she didn't get to do anything against him. So I think more grudge than anything. Blind man? I'm the blind man. You just don't, we don't know who the blind man is yet. Sekimoto Sojiro. He has intelligence. He's a womanizer so far. He's a womanizer and a mad killer, no. I mean, he could be a killer, but there's no proof of that yet. I mean, there's proof of that, like he stood there, but it's not decided completely yet. It's a mystery as well. I think he's just a womanizer at the moment. We don't know that. Loan retrieval. I think that's it for now. Okay. Something like this. I scribbled out everything that was in my head and tossed the pen. To be honest, I wasn't even close to figuring out who the real killer was. The only thing that was clear was that we were missing too many pieces of the case. I feel like the person that's in the Middle of all, this is blind man, am I right? What the hell is he? Katamori was right. The existence of blind man is just too strange. Originally, the man down in his cell, Sakimoto, was supposed to provide the investigation with critical information to help push this case forward. But all he talked about was blind man, a character from his expertise of urban legend. And because of that, we are now further from solving this case. I also received some flack from the first investigation division. They said that only our division would get that kind of useless information out of that professor. It seems like our frustration is oh no. And he noticed that okay, internet died. I was just mumbling. Am I still alive? Am I back? Let me refresh real quick. The cold ring I just brought to my forehead. There's still so much we still don't know. And that's what we have at the moment. So practically, right? There's a moment where Sakimoto looked at the picture and he was disgusted, right? But at the same time, on his so quote-unquote murder that he pulled off, he was not disturbed at all. Like, he gave no indication of like stress or disgust at gore, right? And the fact that he got so tilted in a way, I don't know. My brain goes to maybe the killer, the blind man killer, right? Isn't doing the blind man killing perfectly, and he's disgusted at that. That's what I'm getting so far. My theory. This is a urban legend fanatic, right? And I can see that being a disgust for him. How should we proceed with the investigation? What were we overlooking? We need to check the alibis of the people we interrogated today. We also have to look for the possible new witnesses as well. You're buffering? Oh boy. Is it better now? Okay, it's better. Alright. There's just so much work to do. I shouldn't worry. That's what the murderer wants me to do. I have to remain calm and keep my cool. I think I need to rest up for a bit. I close my eyes and try to relax. Hello? Excuse me, can I have a moment? Yes? OBS! Are you back yet? Man, the DCs. The man took out his business card like a machine. The card was simple, with only black letters on a white background. It only had his title and name. Freelancer journalist, Sudanuma Yoichi. It didn't have an address or phone number. It looked like it was made in under 5 minutes. He made a suspicious expression as though he was sensing what I was thinking. Always hard to work with your cases. Could I have a quick word with you? So, where do you work as a journalist? At least tell me your name. Alright, sorry about that. I know it from the business card. He pulls back the business card and shoves it back into his pocket. He then proceeds to start rubbing his hands together. I work for the Weekly Gallery. I'm part of the local editorial department. You probably haven't heard of us. It's not very popular. It's not a very popular read for young women. Weekly Gallery. I have never read that magazine, but I've heard the name before. It's aimed at middle-aged businessmen, dealing mostly with politics, current events, entertainment, and investigation with a sprinkle of juicy gossip. If I remember right, this magazine has a tendency to exaggerate and blow up anything they can get their slimy little hands on. In any case, this guy seems like trouble. I have to be careful with what I say, because he can use any of it and twist my words to anything he wants. If someone found out I was involved with this, I'd be in big trouble. Without hesitating, he reached into his pocket, pulling out the recorder, still with a big smile. Can I ask you some questions? I promise you'll remain anonymous. Even if he doesn't use my name, it'll be pointless. You can't underestimate the police. They will surely find out the source and I will be blamed for this. I smiled faintly, and it was a deliberate ploy to make him drop his guard. I'm sorry, but someone like me who's at the bottom of the chain, you won't get much. Can you try this on my superiors? Don't be so modest. You're kind of a celebrity right now. You're one of the ones in charge of the killer professor. What? How did you... I'm famous? Wait, where did you get that? I'm a journalist, you know. This is what I do. And you have to be the best to survive in a dying industry. But I'm bound by this thing called confidentiality. I'm sorry, but I can't disclose where I got that information. You understand, right, Miss Shirokazuki? He even knows my name. What the hell's going on with our security? I was too in shock to respond to his stunning words. Any updates on that? He knows Blind Man too? He knows about Blind Man? You gotta be kidding me. Only two of my superiors, Mizuzu and Sekimoto, and myself, know about Blind Man. Where did you get that information? Oh, I have various sources. I have my own set of contacts, you know. How about we just leave it at that? Yeah, that's all I got. But thanks to you, now I know how important this whole Blind Man thing really is. Oh boy, this is trouble. If we keep going on like this, he might get enough information to write an entire magazine. I sense he was getting more and more excited as the more nervous I got. Sus, yeah, very sus. People like him make me sick. If you would excuse me, I have to go now. My apologies, we're not allowed to make statements to the press. I stood up and started to make my way back to the office, but he actually suddenly cut me off, blocking me from the exit. Hey, hold on a second. Cut me some slack here. It's not like I'm burdening you with anything, right? You're asking me to give you confidential information about an ongoing investigation. That's anything but convenient. No. Aren't we supposed to work together like a team? The police have been using the press to get what they needed ever since the good old days. He has a third eye? That is... Oh man. And in turn, we would get the exclusives. I don't have time to tell you all the details, but that's how it goes, am I right? I'm not authorized to divulge that level of strategy. Please step aside. Well then, if you insist. He stopped his recorder. In that case, I have no other option but to publish the information I have. Please do. Well, I really must be going. I turned around and started walking past. A new development involving the murder investigation in Town C. Authorities have been working together with the killer professor? I froze. Looking back over my shoulder, he was still making that annoying smile. Is the key to the murder in Town C an urban legend? The answer to that riddle, Blind Man? What are you blabbling about? I was just thinking how nice that would be for a juicy headline. That's my job, you see. Oh, how about this? Charming detective blushes? Secret meeting with killer professor exposed? Bastard. In a sharp tone, I put an end to his nonsense, but also confirmed my own anxiousness. It was clear that he had me completely wrapped around his finger. I have to gain control of this situation at all costs. Otherwise, this is gonna become very difficult. Please, take it easy. I'm perfectly fine, thanks. You're the one who should relax. Oh fuck. Oh no. This asshole, let's get him. Tell me what's in it for me. In the future, I hope you provide me with information. That's what you said, right? I don't think there's any profit in it for me. That's not gonna happen. It'd be better article if you were the main character, wouldn't that be exciting? You know, there's no such thing as playing fair in the police department. What a shame, you're such a big detective. Why to such sly smile? This one was really persistent. He's a journalist and tough one to boot. Answer. Incredible, we're searching for information as a team, and you're working all alone. Well, thank you, that's my job. So we need to get information. Let's stroke his ego. Do you have any tips and pointers for me? Well, I'm not sure, but if you insist, well, that's close. I nearly told you. Oh, come on, please? On the contrary, information is gold to us. There's no weak points. What should I do now? You seem to be taking some risks on your own. If that's the case, let's go talk about what you've got in the interrogation room. Is that legal? Isn't that an infringement on the freedom of something? No! No, I didn't click in time! Look at you being silent, that was a joke. We can't be friends, right? Come on, what do you have to lose? It was obvious he was calculating what benefits he could get from the situation. There's definitely something behind his words. I can't fall into his traps. I'll take that as a compliment. I'm persistent, so let me get this over with. Never. I'm gonna be stubborn. Like you impart progression to people. Yeah, I heard you, don't worry. But I told you I won't cause any trouble. How can you be so sure? You're the one asking for classified information. Don't worry, you won't lose your job, trust me. He tried to reassure me with a bright smile, and I whispered to me softly. At this point, who cares if I get fired? What if the murderer changed his plan because of leaked information? As I stood there, I thought I really shouldn't cooperate with him. But we might get some good stuff. Well... Before we come to the conclusion we don't trust each other. But that's it. Then how about we drink tonight? It's the perfect way to break the ice. Hell no. I'm a fox. Don't underestimate me. If you are a snake or a raccoon, then I'm a fox. I'm so scared, but I guess I'm gonna have to risk my life then. Do you want to see what this fox can do? You're confident you can beat me. I constantly try to dodge the issue in order to avoid the trap. I hope it back down soon. I suck at this! I think I understand. What do you want to know? Your person in your organization, I guess you really are at the bottom of the barrel. It was true, but it aggravated me because he had spelled it out like that. Thanks for the consideration, don't ever bother talking to me again. Alright, excuse me. You expect me to say something like that? 5 minutes would have been more than enough. Could I get an interview with a killer professor? I said I'm not the person who can authorize that. Okay, I you know, I stayed neutral. That's good. I think. I don't know. I could hear people rumbling outside the lounge. Wait, what's going on? I stopped talking to Suda and ran outside to see the commotion. By the time I got there, a group of officers had gathered all around. They were all staring at something on the wall. They were looking at numerous TVs that looked like a broadcasting station than a police station. The people in town considered CCTV useless, although the government provided Town C with them. It was an utter waste. CCTV cameras were installed throughout the entire town. Their purpose was to prevent crime, but no one thought they would do much good because of the town's small population. This was the first suspicious event caught on camera since the cameras were installed. What the hell is that? The other police officers who were looking at the screens had all the same reactions. We had no idea what we were seeing. It was strangely and swung from side to side as if it was unstable. Its posture was also strange. It walked all hunched over to the point it looked like it was bowing as if its head was too heavy. Maybe it was because of that it walked with its hands out in front, flailing them around in the air. It freaked out when I saw this grotesque creature walking so monstrously, like a monster. It looked like a human, I was positive. But then, it also made me think that it was a strange-looking monster as well. What the hell are you all standing around here for? Get your asses over there now! In the back yelled as if he wanted to shake the fear from his chest. People started piling out of the building, and I... Go to the crime scene, we gotta figure it out. We need more evidence. As I headed to the area, Kazamori jumped into the passenger seat. The other officers also got into their cars as well, and we all made our way to the police station. We all had the same uneasy feeling that there would be another victim there once we arrived. Hey Shiro, this is a speculation, but what if the thing the strange guy back in the cell said comes true? There'll be more bodies. It was at that moment I remembered the words he said, and started to feel sick from my stomach. We shouldn't jump to conclusions. Let's go investigate to see it for ourselves. We surrounded the suspicious-looking man creature, securing it, but still keeping our distance. The mysterious figure in the beam of headlight turned around, revealing itself while it faced us. Ambulance! We need an ambulance! And at once, chaos took over the scene. An old lady who had lost her eyes slowly started to fall over. Almost instinctively, I ran over to try to catch her. Are you okay? Just hang on. What happened to you? Instead of answering my questions, she groaned and let out a blood-soaked gasp. In my arms, her body stiffened, as if she was becoming a cocoon. It was too late. She was dying. Everyone seemed to realize that as they watched. My face went blank as I watched this all play out amidst the chaos. The old lady's body twitched and convulsed, and then went limp. Ichiro, there's something inside her mouth. I didn't notice it until Kazamori mentioned it. Actually, something thin stuck between her teeth. I slowly pulled out the handkerchief I had in my pocket. Then I noticed that her tongue had been completely cut out. Then a foul stench followed by the saliva and blood that poured out. That paper? The paper was folded very small and tight. I carefully unfolded it and read the message. It said, "Give me your eyes." It happened a second time. Sekimoto Sojiro, the killer professor in the cell, was right. The realization made me shiver. Oh man. Get out of here, I have some questions to ask you. It's clearly not him because he's in the cell. No, there's no way he can pre-stage that ahead of time. So I feel like he's on the clear so far. And I see Samo managed to get off his cell. Takimoto walked out, seeing my grim expression. You're late. I was getting tired of waiting. I didn't have time to play his childish games. I stared at him for a moment, but Takimoto didn't seem interested in me at all. Why don't you hurry up and ask already? There's another victim. I see, and? The MO was the usual. Both her eyes were missing. They appeared to be cut out with scissors. I see. What else? There was a note. It said, "Give me your eyes." What is your opinion on this? I took a deep breath, filling my lungs with air, and giving me time to make a decision. I decided that I was going to divulge everything I had on the investigations to him. Tell me everything you know about Blind Man. It's finally my turn, alright. It's a bit of a long story, so I hope you're ready for it. First off, I want you to understand why my theory was correct. He smiled as he said that. It's true that Blind Man is an urban legend, but this legend was actually born on the internet. Obviously, the urban legends can exist on the internet. Yes, it's because the stories can quickly travel from person to person on the net, which then creates an urban legend. We categorize these stories as internet legends. Those spread fast through emails and SNS, but this term isn't official yet. His tone was different than from before. He sounded smart and concise. His tone was strong, and he had a demanding presence. Internet legends are quite different from the already existing ones. The ones can be easily altered. For example, if you search for stories about Blind Man, by date, You can see how much the story had been changed and altered. We live in such an easy world. Do you know the origin of this blind man? Well, sort of. The original story wasn't that interesting. It began as a blog, posting about a blind man who struggled to find new eyes. The blog owner begged everyone to register themselves at the eye bank so he would have a better chance at getting a transplant. He posted all relevant hospitals and facilities on his blog, and wrote the replies to draw as much attention as possible to the blog. This led to a dead end. And you guess what happened? No. Then what happened? Someone shot him, blaming him for pretending to be a patient. It didn't sound fake to me, judging from what he's just told me, really? But how could a blind man write all those replies? But there are no voice support devices for the blind. Most people might not know of those devices. So what happened after that? The blog hasn't been updated since then, but there was a new rumor that was recently made. People started speculating that the owner of the blog went out looking for the murderer to avenge the death. And the story ended up becoming an urban legend. It became a myth about a monster looking for new eyes. Is that the origin of Blind Man? It is, formally. It seems like if there's a rumor and it's credible, it spreads like wildfire. You get it? People don't always want what is true, but rather a believable and intriguing story. I think that's the case with Blind Man. An innocent victim, harsh accusation and slander, and tragedy all can be great ingredients for a gossip frenzy. He was being serious, however. The story had too many conceptual points, which made it very hard to follow. In other words, the story is a hoax then. Then what's the real truth then? It's an experiment, plain and simple. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Listen, the story is... It's designed to be an experiment. I was the one who wrote it and spread it. It's his personal blind man story. He's a professor, right, on the urban legend. He decided to do it. I'm the creator of the urban legend Blind Man. Mikimoto insisted that stopped me in my tracks. Did you make up the whole story about Blind Man? Yes. And how come there's a real life one out there now? I don't know, but I felt responsible for it. So he's an obsessed fan of the Blind Man that's replicating this issue. And I guess that's why he got triggered. It's starting to make sense. And that's why it was personal for him, right? Please tell me everything in order, briefly. Tell me only the truth. Alright, this might take a while. Mikimoto sighed deeply, closed his eyes, and pulled up his shin. Blind Man was one of my folklore projects. I wanted to see how fast a story like this would spread as a rumor. The alteration during and after the process of the story was to be evaluated afterward as well. I was going to use the research data to enhance vile marketing strategies and to better handle verifying false reports. I designed all of the actions of the blind man, even down to the crime scene where the man had been shot. Then I created the Blind Man, a character as fascinating as Hikiko, another famous character from an urban legend. Are you saying that the people made the Blind Man famous through the internet? No, not at first. It started off slow. I haven't uploaded fake pictures and postings. Even after going through all that trouble, all I had to show for it was a couple of interested people. I blamed myself for my incompetence. Then one day, being depressed, I uploaded the story, but to my surprise, the read count increased dramatically. It was most likely due to the story finally reaching the required amount to be spread to a broader audience. I really wanted to have this paper published if it were possible. And the Blind Man story gradually started to change, and it was done by the hands of the people. It was like watching my own child grow up, but it was a lonely feeling that my child was growing up on its own. Hold on, I'm not following. My brain was about to overheat from the enormous amount of information that just had been given to me all at once. I had to clear my head by pressing hard on my nose. Don't tell me that's not the only. At this point, I don't see any connections between you and the investigations. You shouldn't be so hasty. If you want to learn things, there's never a shortcut to the truth. But what if you were a detective? He insisted that he was explaining it in a timely fashion, and then continued on. My students and I were extremely happy because the experiment turned out to be a massive success. The 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 boy he killed for his murder case, right, is one of his students, right? But one of my students didn't show up to the lab. I think much of it because it was uncommon for some younger students keep coming to the lab. At that point, the story about blind men spread faster than ever. That's how I found out what happened a week later. To be honest, I was busy studying people's reactions when someone reported that they saw blind man. There was even a real police report on the internet. That wasn't it. They found the victims, Samurai and today's victim. It has become reality now. The situation is similar to the initial version I wrote. Only a few people know about the original story, so it's one of his students. Only a few people. Could you be more specific than that? It might have been that student in the lab. I think they were the ones who must have been imitating the draft he read. But all of this might just be big coincidence, right? Murders with similar methods happen all the time in real life. The victim who was found before, did they have a message in their mouth from blind man? Give me your eyes. Yeah, that's more than coincidence's point. I told him what I found and his face darkened. I described in my draft that the victim would have a message in their mouth and it would be addressed to the first person who discovered the victim. Yes, that means you will be blind man's next victim. But the story is made up, isn't it? Don't you get it, Shiro? This murderer is imitating the original story. Wait, so I'm the next victim? The character from the story is no longer just an urban legend anymore. It doesn't matter if he's or the original author or not anymore. How's that scissor-wielding, eyeball-craving monster's next victim? I could end up just like the other victims dead with my eyes cut out. This is my story, but we still may have some time. You're wondering why I chose you, aren't you? You said it was because of an article you read in the magazine. Do you honestly believe that? You're deceived by such a simple lie that you should have known better. Then why did you choose me? I looked into your past. Death has always followed you your entire life. At that moment, my heart started to race. How the hell did he find out that who am I? Why are you working as a detective here? Are you trying to hide from your past? Am I blind, man? No. It's impossible. I was dumbfounded. I felt like a frog that had been just caught by a snake. I'm nothing like you. I've had some unfortunate moments, but I'm no criminal. I know that. I told you. I checked everything about you. I so happened to stumble upon you while I was researching the probability of a person witnessing a death and the side effects it carries. I realized it during my research, especially with homicides and major accidents. You were always present at the scene. How's that? Please tell me in exchange for this lecture. Stop it. This case, it might have been your destiny for this to have happened. Stop it. You're like Belial. Have you heard of it? It's the name of the devil, the fallen angel. The devil tells lies with beautiful face of an angel. It will never tell the truth unless it's presented with an offering. Enough. What's wrong? Are you feeling okay? I couldn't calm myself down. I looked over at Kazamori for support, but he too was in shock. Takimoto, you asshole. What the hell did you do? I haven't done anything. All I did was tell you what I knew. Is that true, Shiro? I couldn't speak. It was like my body was frozen in place. Takimoto, you'll never get away with this. What the hell did you do to my lovely partner? I've done nothing wrong. I was simply asking a question. Oh, by the way, you probably should go find Takenaka Shinichiro. Who the hell is that? What? Takenaka? He was one of my researchers who live in Town C. What does he have to do with anything? Shiro will tell you the rest of the details. He's the student who went missing some time ago. Look, I don't know what you're talking about. Kazamori, let's go. Let's head over to Shinichiro's home. Why have I no security? I don't know. Shiro? I barely caught my breath before I stood up. It was so difficult to move my body. I had to take charge because if Kazamori did the interrogation, the whole situation would have been screwed. Hey, don't push yourself too hard. I managed to get some useful information out of him. We should move past before it's too late. Well, well. Nice work, Shiro. Alright, let's go. I sent Sakimoto back to his cell and headed out to the building with Kazamori. The pressure that had built slowly dissipated as I started moving around again. I could finally focus again, but there was one thing that was clear. This guy, he was playing me. Okay, let's go to the menu real quick. Okay, out of these people, right? We got the old lady that died. She's young enough to be a college student. So is she. None of these be blind men. They're too old or too young. But Makimura Sanae and Haruka, definitely college student level, you know? 20s, right? Working, part-time job for experience. She's really clear, like she's angry at this person, right? She doesn't know anything about this person. And we couldn't read her facial expressions when we're interrogating her. So I'm definitely sus of Makimura Sanae right now. I feel like there's no way. Unless I mean, there's other characters as well. But for now, I'm thinking Sanae. Wait, where? I'm thinking that right now. Let's save real quick. I haven't saved yet. We'll edit as long as we go. Maybe we'll find more people, right? We confront Takenaka Shinichiro's address and got into the car. During the drive, I told Kazamori everything that Sekimoto had said to me in his cell. So this whole urban legend experiment has become real. That's quite the story. He thought his own trial just so that he could watch this case in its entirety. But he did say he felt responsible. He must feel so conflicted. Honestly, I have no idea how Sekimoto must be feeling right now. He could be a normal person. He could what? How could a normal person understand a person with such thirst for knowledge? Hey, I wanted to ask you something, Shiro. How do you think he's holding up with the whole situation? This is a guess. Do you still want to hear it? I thought for a moment to choose my words carefully. I think he's pretty pleased with himself. Yeah, probably. A monster he created has become real and is wreaking havoc. It even has the authorities baffled. He doesn't seem thrilled about the urban legend itself, but he does seem pleased that the legend he created has succeeded. Sekimoto probably just wanted the ability to observe this process as closely as possible. Well, I think both Blind Man and Sekimoto are out of their minds, yeah. I do think they're different people though. What do you think would happen if Blind Man ever met his creator Sekimoto? Do you think they'll get emotional? Not a chance. Yes, you're right. Sekimoto will probably have that stupid smirk on his face while Blind Man sticks a pair of scissors in his eyes. Things went quiet for the rest of the trip. Our destination was on the outskirts of Town C. The area used to be an all-government-sponsored housing, but recently many people left. It'll most likely be shut down soon. Hey Kazamori, what should we do when you get there? We don't have a lot of time, and we don't actually have a warrant for any of this. It's already pretty dark. Detectives don't normally visit people during these hours. What if this actually turns out to be an important witness? He might be holding crucial evidence. I think we've been too hasty. Hey Shiro, I need a straight answer from you. Sure, what's the question? This person we're seeing, the Takenaka guy, do you think he's a normal person? I remained silent with Kazamori. Put his hand in his pockets. You get a bad feeling, no necessity to use your baton and handcuffs. Okay. Yeah, I mean this is a prime suspect, right? He could be blinded. Wow, this looks horrible. This is worse than I expected. I couldn't even believe my eyes as we got out of the car. All these houses looked the same, and were all run down. There were weeds growing all over the place, showing that there hadn't been anyone living here for a while. Which one is Takenaka's house? The innermost one. We slowly and quietly made our way over to the house. That must be the place. I pointed my finger at the house. There were lights coming from inside the house. There was only silence. Everyone inside must already be asleep. I surveyed the house where Takenaka Shinichiro supposedly lives. I remember this house. Memories slowly coming in. I remember this scene. The scenery, somehow. There was a pile of mail on the front porch. There were also tools outside covered in dust. The curtains weren't completely drawn and shutters weren't closed. Kazamori cautiously approached the house and peeped through one of the windows. Kazamori, what do you see? Oh shit, Shiro, call for backup! Kazamori shouting as he rushed towards the front door. He tried to open the door, but it was locked. Mr. Takenaka, this is the police. Open the door. Open up now. Damn it. He used his baton to break the window and open the door. The rotting still air had filled the house and suddenly poured out. At the same time, a wall of bugs blew out. The nauseating smell of dust and decay was present. It smelled like many bags of rotting food. Kazamori and I illuminated the room with our flashlights we brought from the car. There was... How many dead bodies? What? There were 3 dead bodies. An older couple and a young man. The young man must be Takenaka. Oh, he's dead! Due to the high humidity, their skin where it touched the floor had already started to turn purple. Their bodies had started to decompose. The high moisture led to the maggots to feast on the bodies, leading them to be fat. Some of the victims' body parts were eaten completely to the bone. I could taste the bile on the back of my tongue. But I tried not to throw up, because I didn't want to contaminate the crime scene. There's more. There's more? I followed the beam from his flashlight, revealing the faces of the victim. It was clear that a lot of time had passed since their death. Judging from their state, their eyes had been badly mutilated. There was also a pair of scissors. Laying right beside them, from their unsightly open mouths, I could see that their tongues had been cut out. Blind man? With this makes number 3. You're wrong. Don't you see how long these people have been here? These people probably were the first victims. Holy shit, Shiro. Can you believe this? That means blind men have been in this town even longer than we thought. We didn't have a clue. This killing bastard has been preying on unsuspecting victims. While Kazamori was cursing blind men, I could hear the faint sound of sirens approaching. Only Takenaka Shinichiro was still alive. We couldn't have gotten to the bottom of this, but this monster was hiding in this decaying town, probably predicting our every move. This happened a while ago, so he must be sitting back and enjoying the show. I never thought it would turn out like this. We have to let the first investigation division know what we found before they start inspecting the crime scene. After only hearing a few words we had to say, we were disregarded and ignored. Their chief told us they would take over our investigation. Kazamori yelled back, saying that the bastards were like hyenas taking credit for the hard work of others. We got back to the office and immediately sat down at our desk. It wasn't long before we passed out. Oh man. I don't know how many hours passed by, but I woke to someone poking me. I opened my eyes. I saw Kuroda and Mizuzu staring at me with concern. Excuse me, good morning. What a fun night last night. We both stood up and stretched our outer bodies. Great job yesterday, you two. I heard all about it. We've made some serious headway in the investigation. They've identified the victim found on the mountain road. The victim's name was Watari Kurumi. You know, somehow Watari Kurumi sounds familiar. Age 78. Her registered address was none other than the welfare. There's a connection to the girl. That's the same place where that chief director committed suicide. She died from shock from having her eyes cut out using scissors. It was just like the previous victim. The first investigation division is examining the scene as we speak. Also, we were able to identify the 3 bodies he discovered in the residential district. Takenaka Kozo, age 58, Takenaka Chizuko, his wife, age 55, and Takenaka Shinichiro, age 28. Occupation is unknown. So is his family. So now we got a grand total of 4 bodies. They've all been pretty easy to identify compared to Tamura. I'll have her explain it better. Tachibana, please go ahead. Alright. Finding the identities of the most recent victims was relatively easy, unlike Tamura. All the victims had their teeth and were inside their homes. As for Watari Kurumi, there was someone there who could identify her and we were able to match one of her fingerprints. And as for Takenaka's family, we were able to identify Kozo from his work ID and Chizuko from her dental records. And the son, Shinichiro, Sekimoto was able to confirm his identity from a photo. So they showed Sekimoto the dead, decomposing body. He must have been pretty torn up about all this. Did he say anything about Takenaka Shinichiro? He had a bitter smile and said, I never thought this would be the way I would see him again. Shinichiro had been missing for a while. It must have been some time since the last time he saw his student. He might have been pretending to show some vanity with a bitter smile. I also wondered how he was really feeling. That's all I got. Any questions? Find anything about the murderer? Any news from forensics? I've only recovered the pair of scissors. I've analyzed them, but I haven't gotten anything from them yet. Those types of scissors can be purchased almost everywhere. This type of murder weapon has been pretty difficult to track down. Damn. We need some sort of breakthrough. Calm down. Getting anyone won't help us solve this case. While we're running all over the place, he's out there mocking us. How the hell do you expect me to stay calm? He might not have chosen the best of words, but he was right. It was true that we were going nowhere in this investigation. It was like he was reading Sekimoto's mind. The murderer was always one step ahead. The blind man is reading his creator's mind. However, the analysis isn't fully complete yet, and there are still various tests underway. There's still hope that something still might pop up. Mizuzu continues with her overview. Forensics was still analyzing the vibers and anything else they could find on the victim's clothing. She said that there could be a good chance of finding some sort of trace of the murderer from direct physical contact. It can be dangerous to jump to conclusions, but there's a possibility of there being more than just one murderer. I don't think these murders are unrelated. This kind of murder is difficult to imitate. Oh. Kurota's words struck to me like lightning. No. Separate crimes. That might be a possibility. What? Tiro, what's wrong? It's like what Mizuzu just said. We can't rule out the possibility of multiple assailants. Why? Do you have anything to back that up? Yeah, my main issue is... Okay, the murder method was sloppy, no. Right? They both got cut off. They weren't any naked bodies. The first... Okay, the family's naked. But they still have their teeth. That's the important one. They still all have their teeth. Alright, all the victims had their teeth. So what? What are you getting at? No, it's not that. The first victim, Tamura, had all his teeth removed. That's true. The only thing that was in his mouth was his tongue. Only his tongue! And the other stump were cut off, right? I feel a medical drive to this, especially regarding to its work. What are you talking about? I grabbed the documents from Tamura's case and spread them out on the desk. At the first crime scene, I felt like the killer was paranoid about how they handled the body. The killer removed all the teeth, and the body was found naked, without even an article of clothing. His eyes were even cut out by a pair of scissors. And think about the location of the body. The killer specifically placed the body in a valley that intersects Town C. It was like taking out the trash. The killer showed their presence with such persistency with the first case. So why was this time so ordinary? I don't know if ordinary would be the right word. The victims this time. Reporters have begun swarming this place like flies. This quiet little town isn't so quiet anymore. Something's off about this. We have to remember the facts, regardless of imaginary things like Blind Man. The first case was completely different from the new case we just got yesterday. But I still don't know who the murderer is. This is as far as I can go from all the evidence we have now. It's so frustrating that we still have no idea who Blind Man really is. However, I think now we are able to grab its tail. Yeah, whatever. We still have a ton of work to do. I'm so sick of this. As he said that, Kazamori reached for the documents on his desk. I tracked what he was doing, and a particular document caught my eye. It was one of many pictures the CSI guys took at the crime scene. They often take these for their records, but it wasn't the victim that caught my attention. Ooh, it was a picture of the bystander behind the yellow caution tape. Hey, Mizuzu, what are these pictures? Oh, those pictures are from the press who were at the crime scene. These aren't usually related to the murder investigation. These guys are like a blight. All they do is interrupt investigations. Just like Kazamori complained, most of the press and their cameras were there. They were like bloodhounds, sniffing for any last bit of information they could get to report any latest development. But the thing that caught my attention was the townsperson who was standing near the back of the crowd. I've heard these kind of pictures are helpful for catching serial arsonists. That's right, those narcissistic bastards have a strong tendency to come back to admire their chaotic work at the crime scene. It was just a habit to take so many pictures no matter if they would be of no use later. My first supervisor told me over and over again that it was important to collect everything he could. Anything could prove to be useful later down the road. He told me not to miss anything at the crime scene. He always said that negligence is our biggest enemy. While listening to Mizuzu, I stretched out my hand towards the pictures of the bystanders. I looked at the people around the crime scene at the Watari Kurubi case. One of them was also at Takenaka's house. A repeat. I also looked at the crime scene at the pictures of bystanders at the crime scene of Tamura's case. Wait, hold on a moment. This person is the same guy at all three crime scenes. Really? Where? I lined up some pictures and I singled out the person as an overweight male with a pale face. Oh, you're right, this guy must have a lot of free time on his hands. Wait, oh, this guy. Let me see that, Kuroda grabs one of his photos, examines it carefully. After a while, he lets out a sound like he's found something. I know who this man is. It's the youngster from the Kanayas. That's Kanaya Hiromu, right? You recognize him too? What can you tell me about him? He's the only son of this town's landowner. He's a bit of a handful. Try to speak of the son with ambiguity. Kazamori, on the other hand, came out swinging when Kuroda stopped talking. He graduated from a vocational school in Tokyo, but after that, he came back here. This guy is trouble. He's such a pain in the ass. All he does is surf the net. The internet. You probably know about Blind Man then. Criticizing anything and everything he can find. Internet dead again. Am I back? Test. Let me refresh real quick. Okay. Almost, but not so much. He actually grabbed him by the arm. Kazamori started to reenact the scenario. Did you just hit my shoulder? It's called tapping. What the hell are you grabbing me for? I know you're a detective. You shouldn't treat me like that. I have my own connections, you know. Huh? What are you talking about? Everyone in this town knows I'm a detective. It's an offense Such an innocent citizen without prior consent for being on duty. You're lucky I'm not bleeding. It would have been considered assault, haha. What are you talking about? Are you high? Not only have you insulted me, but you have also insulted my pride. I'm going to file a complaint against you. Alright, go ahead. You do that, you little punk. So then what happened? He filed a complaint, right? That little bastard actually filed a complaint against me. Of course he didn't stick, but ever since then, he's been a pain in the ass to the police. Even if Kazamori was just being nice by tapping him on the shoulder, I wondered if he really was a pain in the ass for police. At least this proves his extreme paranoia. And when the people at HQ didn't take him seriously, he then hired his family's lawyer to go after the police. What an idiot. How can you sue the entire police force and then... Kazamori, hold right there. Just to clarify, this really did happen, right? Of course it did. Do you really think I could mix up something like this? I'm just checking because it all seemed a little insane. Isn't it? That little bastard. It seems that these internet addicts can't seem to bridge the gap between the digital world and the real world. To me, I think he was just being super childish. It sounded a little like a brat just trying to show off his vast knowledge he gained from the internet. I think he was acting out because his pride got hurt. The only comeback was snapping at you, and it looked apparent that he didn't know how to win an argument. There's only one option for dealing with people like that. You gotta let them know who's boss. When we see him, we should squash him like a bug and overwhelm him in the situation. But in this scenario, he wouldn't have gotten away with anything. I think I'd better come up with another solution to stop his squabbling. Shirome doesn't sound like the type of person who would be willing to cooperate anyway, so how do we approach this? I say we fight. We gotta go at him head on. Thinking we caught him smiling at all these crime scenes. Alright? That sounds like a risky strategy. Oh yeah, remember, not to use the word stupid in front of him, okay? It would just get him all fired up. Understood. I'll be careful. But Kazamori, well, what you just said earlier, he clearly doesn't know what the false accusation is about. Oh, what could it be? We parked the car outside Kanaya's house and checked the perimeter. It's a big mansion. This confirmed the fact that his father was a wealthy landowner. There were also other smaller residents around the mansion. I hope he's here. He's an internet addict without a job. He'll be here. Let's go. That's me right there. When we rang the doorbell at the front porch, an old woman who seemed like Kanaya's grandmother came out. As soon as we started to explain the reason on why we were here, she points to a place over to the side. He said that he just recently moved to that place. We rang another doorbell, but there was no response. We rang it a couple more times, but still nothing. We missed him. Yeah, he is. I think he's just coming to the door. This seems a little fishy. Kanaya, Hiromi, we have a delivery for you. Delivery? He's gonna show up. He'll mistake us for delivery guys, bringing him his anime DVDs or video games. You can't do that. Oh really? Hasanori shoots me looking, saying I told you so. He opened the door slowly and was astonished. You aren't delivery guys. Sorry about that, but we need to have a talk with you. A talk? Who are you guys? Did my father send you again? Tell him I'm still trying to find a job, and he should stop bothering me. He thought his father hired us to come have a talk with him? Luckily for us, he didn't remember Kazamori. So just hold on a second, we're... Keeping in sync with Kazamori, we both reached for our police ID badge at the same time. Police! You probably should already know the series of murders that's been happening recently. Would you mind if we ask you some questions? I'm a little busy at the moment. I promise it won't take long. Just think of it as helping solve the case. From the looks of Kanaya, he looked like a little bothered and wanted to refuse. The police run out of clues? Are you that desperate coming by and poking around? Yeah, you could say something like that. We're looking for some new leads. I see. I didn't expect the police to be so incompetent as they were on the documentaries I see on TV. I thought it was a hoax for the government and TV. I was about to interject, but Kazamori tapped me on the shoulder, and I backed off. I don't know anything about that. Well, anyway, can I have a quick word with you? What's in it for me? What? I need some sort of payback. Did you expect I would give you some valuable information for free? You must be really desperate to come to me. In that case, I could be your special informant. I can find all sorts of information online. I happen to be a great hacker. I can get you anything you need to know. How much are you willing to pay me? Is he serious? I wanted to yell at him for trying to take advantage of the situation like that, but I bit my lips, resisting the urge. Come on. You want my help, right? You gotta give me something. I'm not charity. Without noticing, I clenched my fists. This kid really deserves a beating for his rude behavior. Kazamori was right about this one. What are you doing? What's that fist for? Are you insane? This isn't what it looks like. Kazamori? Yes? What are you doing? Oh, what a wonderful picture. Now I've got some evidence. If you do something stupid, I'll upload this to my blog. That's where I lost my temper. I couldn't let the bastard go on. I had to overwhelm this little piece of shit before we proceed any further. I'm sorry, Katamori, but I think we should get straight to the point. Alright, proceed. Thanks, alrighty. I quickly grabbed him by the collar. Oh, what are you doing? You think you can just insult us like that? Oh, liar's art, no. I'm going to expose you all. I'm going to write about what just happened, being oppressed by the authorities. Okay, speedrun. Think fast. Be quick with it. Staying silent is dead end with this guy. To be honest with the power of the internet, people will rip you apart once I upload your threads to my blog. Scared yet? I'm still gonna pull you up by your collar. Are you all alone? Are you still about questioning the police over his alone? Are you enjoying digging your own grave? I was just trying to protect myself. I don't want to fight. Protect himself? There's something he's protecting. Going into the case then. I stared at him quietly, but I think we were all bothered by the tension. I don't think he was acting like a brat because he was trying to hide who he truly was. You don't have to worry about it. All I want from him is stop. Oh really? He beamed back at me with an attempt to console him. I think assumptions were right. Alright, Kanihiro, I'll give you a choice. You want to talk here or back at the station? I was going to cooperate. You think of a choice right now? This is my choice, right? I can just cooperate or not. Well, normally it would be, but only for normal cases. I mean, I knew it was wrong. He doesn't know anything. Every law written applies to every case. Unfortunately for him, we're professionals to interpret the laws and use them to solve problems. Sounds good to me. Let's see what we're dealing with here. With that being said, we searched around the area. If we find anything suspicious, that would be enough to bring him for questioning. Now wait just a minute. No, that's not necessary. He seems anxious. I think this guy might be cooperating without if we keep on pressing him like this. But I haven't done anything wrong. I have to make this an official then. I'm gonna give him an option. I didn't mean it like that. I was only joking around. Then you can cooperate with us. Answer some question will be on our way. He honestly heard my suggestion. At least what I had to say was true. It's no use to us if he doesn't tell us what he knows. If the answers he gives can be trusted, of course. Enough. We'll come back later. Sorry to have disturbed you. Huh? Well, alright. I'll be watching you. I don't get it. These things weren't quite clear to me, so I think I better stay alert. Now that'll be fun. Let's move out. Hold on a minute. What is it now? We have to go file the report that Fanny isn't willing to cooperate with the authorities. I don't like your tone. It sounds like you're saying that all of this is my fault. You sound like you thought I was lying. I was just telling the truth. Hey, come on, I was just joking around. And finally, that started to change. Can I be glad? I continue watching carefully. Well, thanks for everything. We'll see you again soon. Alright, there's no other choice but to listen to me. Consider this a special gift. What's so special about it? We came here to ask you some questions. It was just standard protocol. If this is bothering you that much, we can leave. Really? Okay, I admit surrender, just take it easy. I won. I finally did this snot-nosed brat. I was so proud of myself. It's like gleaming with triumph. I caught a glance at Kanamori who had lost his previous engagement with this kid. He seemed to be kicking himself because he didn't use the same strategy as mine the previous time around. We got him! So, what was the thing you wanted to ask me? It's like I said before. It was about a series of recent murders that happened in town. Alright, I remember. I don't know very much about them. Why were we at every crime scene? I didn't flinch, I pretended not to notice, but I kept watching his every move. He might not have expected this question, but he started answering differently than before. Can you answer, please? Why were you present at all the crime scenes? I want to become a famous novelist. I haven't told anyone about this yet. I was preparing to write a fiction mystery novel. A novel? That wasn't expected. That's why I visited all the crime scenes. I was doing research on some crime scenes for my book. You didn't actually think I was involved with the case, did you? It's ridiculous. Give me a break. I think the police should be doing a better job and actually trying to catch the murderer instead of wasting time with me. People in town must be getting sick of your failures too. Haruka said the same thing. I'll be watching your every move on trying to solve this case. Haruka? Are you referring to Minase Haruka? You two know each other? That was unexpected. I never expected a beautiful girl to be involved with someone like him. I didn't even realize they were even first name basis. Yeah, me and Haruka were pretty close, but it's not your concern. I'm sorry, it's just out of pure curiosity. I really don't want people to know about our relationship. Don't tell anyone, okay? It's gonna make things awkward for Haruka if people found out she was seeing a loser like me. He was all sweaty during the conversation. Maybe because it was during a hot summer, or because he was fat. But I could read anxiety from his expression. Are you alright? You're sweating really hard. Oh, I'm fine. I usually sweat a lot like this. I think it's time for medication. Medication? Are you sick? Yeah, it's called eating too much. It's for being overweight. Do you have diabetes? No, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. That's true, but I think I've said enough. Go away. But we still have some more. I've told you everything I know. There's nothing more I have left to say. I think we're done here. Kanaya, wait. He had to change abruptly, and he slammed the door. We were left standing on the porch in the front of a locked door. We were just kicked out. I guess so. Who the hell does he think he is? I don't know how I feel about this. There's definitely something fishy about this guy. There's no guarantee he's telling the truth. Yeah, I agree with you. I think this scumbag is making up his story. Well, at least we got something out of him. We can't get a search warrant without having any proof. He probably will try to destroy any evidence he has if he truly is guilty. Yeah, well, from now on, I think we should keep an eye on Kanaya Hiromu. Why is internet dying? Alright. At least the night's still young. tell me why you think this guy's a little off. I think Hiromu was there at every crime scene, but he hasn't left his house for the past several days. Isn't that strange to you? Yeah, it is. Well, keep an eye out for me. I'm gonna get some shut-eye. We can rest breaks in 1-hour shifts. No way, last time you said that, you didn't wake up until the next morning. Come on, we're gonna take this seriously. You say so. I'm not good at staying up late. Where's that fighting spirit you had when you were fighting with Kuroda? That's completely another story. I never thought this would take so long. This is Kazamori's problem. He is always so enthusiastic at the beginning. As more time goes on, he turns into a slacker. Please, let me get some rest. I promise you, I'll buy you some hot sandwich tomorrow. You let me get some sleep first. I'm so exhausted, I haven't taken a shower for days. What did you just say? You have no shame? What? Why should you be first to rest? Aren't you being a little hypocritical right now? I got it. Rock, paper, scissors. Let's do it. That'll be fair, right? Enough. Ah! Our conversation was interrupted by the sound of glass, shattering followed by a scream. What the hell was that? He glanced over at me. I had no idea what was going on. It was definitely the scream of a man. He sounded extremely upset. I think it came from Kanaya's house. We both concentrated on the noise. I said, knock that off. That's Kanaya's voice. Let's go in and take a closer look. We quickly get out of the car. And approached the house silently. The neighbors clearly heard all the commotion because every once in a while I could see a person's shadow looking out their window. I'm trying my best, but it takes time to get results. You're treating me like I'm worthless. Listen to Kanaya's screams of rage anxiously. The police just randomly showed up. I didn't do anything. He was quite upset. What should we do, Shiro? Should we call for backup? Or should we just handle this situation by ourselves? Kazamori gave me a serious look. Even if we decided to enter the house, I don't think we could be able to subdue him. I think it's better to call for backup. Shut up! I can do it if I try. Stop making me repeat myself over and over. But no one visited him except family, right? And he didn't go out. So who is he talking to? If we call for backup, this case will be handed over to another division, and all our hard work will be for nothing. You know what are you gonna do? But that's why I needed the money, you old hag. You need to just shut up and listen to what I have to say. Kanaya's rage caused us to both flinch. I had to make a choice. If someone's in there, the mom is in there, or the grandma, right? And it's being violent, it could cause another murder, right? If he is the cause. Calling backup takes time. See how it turns out is not the right answer. I'm the next victim of this blind man guy, according to the urban legend. So I need to be careful. But doing it alone means I'm going with my partner, right? I say we do it. Are you serious? Wouldn't it be better to call for backup? There's no time. We had to act fast, so nobody would get hurt. He's on a call? Maybe, yeah. He's probably on a call. I glared fiercely at the hesitating Kazamori with rage. Let's go. I kicked the door open with all my might. And Kazamori ran inside, jumping into action. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Calm down. What is this? You worthless hag, you called the cops. Kazamori, you'll stay back, go block the entrance. But can you handle it alone? Shut up, just do it. I couldn't see what was going on from my current position. The only thing I could hear were the sounds of people fighting. I raided my baton just in case. What? Kanai, what the hell were you doing? I can do anything, do you hear me? What's going on, Kanaya? What the hell is happening? I'm not retarded, I'm a gifted man. We will all see what I'm talking about. The room was filled with stuffy air, the heavy humidity irritated my nose. What's that smell? I don't feel so well. The air mixture was fishy, musty, and any other putrid smell. Kanaya. Hiro, he's getting away. And a cry of Kazamori, Kanaya escaped. I couldn't believe what I just saw. Is that you, Kanaya Hiromu? I couldn't see him clearly because of the light. It was dim, but he didn't look like a person I just saw a few days ago. He was breathing violently, sounding like a beast. The putrid strength of his breath was so strong. It smelled like rotten meat. Who the hell are you? Why are you in my house? Don't you recognize me? It was clear that he was out of his mind. I couldn't tell his physical condition, but his eyes were glowing like a hungry beast. He looked like a beast with ravenous hunger. I almost confused him for a grizzly bear from his appearance. You're just a brute strength, Kanaya. Stop, you little shit. Stop? Stop what? He mumbled as if he didn't understand. It was clear that he wasn't thinking normally. Oh, I get it now. It was you. What are you talking about? Stay calm, and no one's going to hurt you. I won't. I won't what? What are you trying to say? I won't let it go. I will never. No one's going to take anything from you. Just calm down. Marika, you're mine. Kanaya, calm the hell down. Samurai's yelling was so loud it overwhelmed Kanaya's. Samurai's yelling was so loud it overwhelmed Kanaya's, causing him to stop and suddenly start to move. He walked slowly, step by step. As that fatal nerd walked towards us, his body slowly revealed by the moonlight. He was completely naked. What? Why is he naked? He stopped walking. I had no idea what he was saying. I chose to. I looked over at Kazamori. After seeing me panic, my partner jumped towards him. Before Kazamori could get to him, Kanai quickly shoved me out of the way and escaped. Then I lost my voice when I saw his entire body in the moonlight. What the hell is that? He was only wearing a pair of white underwear. His entire body was covered with blood. The blood had turned black and was completely dried. He ran with a weird motion. His arms were flailing, and his torso swayed from left to right. Kanai looked like a monster. I could barely swallow. Is he the blind man? He escaped into the brush outside the mansion. We were about to lose him on the darkness. Don't just stand there, Shiro. Go after him. Okay. We ran as fast as we could towards the brush. We couldn't see Kanai running anymore. His moans and footsteps were ways away. We tried following the sound, but it was too different to catch him. A while later, we found ourselves in the middle of the forest. What the hell? He looks so different. There's no sign of him. There's second division. No sign of him here either. We'll continue searching. Same here. Most of the police force were searching the forest where it's difficult to walk around at night. Aren't we investigating the scene over at Kanaya's house? There are multiple bodies inside. Oh my god. It was clear that he was the one who killed them. Mizuzu was analyzing the scene carefully and thoroughly. I was staying at the makeshift base Kazamori. We gave First Investigation Division our reports and stayed out on joining the search. Kuroda came to see us when we were finished talking. Great job, your instincts were correct. You guys did a great job. Those First Investigation Division guys didn't thank us, and even had the nerve to tell us to stay out of their way now. We could have caught him if they were any bit smarter. Kazamori spoke up as if he wanted the guys around him to hear him. Kuroda, who was surrounded by his superiors, could only muster up a bitter smile. They told me to stop making these making things so complicated because now they had to use so much manpower to search such a large-scale area. I guess we can just hope for the best. I know the situation's all, I know the situation alright. I'll stop my complaining. Can you tell me what happened in the room? A brief explanation would be fine. Yeah, I wanted to hear about it too. It was hell on earth, full of rotten corpses, and the smell of death and decay. The victims were definitely his family members. What a lunatic. But wasn't he yelling at someone just before we went in? Does that mean there was another survivor? All the bodies were already badly decomposed. You saw him yourself, Shiro. Didn't he look off to you? And I certainly didn't look normal. So what happened then? He was yelling at the dead bodies. He must have believed that one of the maggot-filled bodies was still nagging him. He was probably just hallucinating. I mean, he was already insane when we went there to talk to him. Well, that's a tragedy. It's a dangerous one. There'll be more victims if you don't catch him. Right, the first investigation division is on the case. He'll be found in no time. All they're doing is stealing our achievements right now. Our objective is solving this case. This should be enough for all of us. This is your case, Shiro. People around us stopped talking and turned their heads towards us. The case was already at a dead end, and the Special Law Enforcement Unit hasn't even been mentioned at any of the strategy meetings. All they wanted us to do was babysit the murderer in the lockup, but we managed to do them one better by finding more evidence for the investigation. In the meantime, Shiro, you found Takenaka and now revealed the truth about Kanaya. We are far from worthless. We're in no position to be excluded from this investigation. You're not a saint, you're a detective, Shiro Kazuki. Tears were welling under his eyes. I could feel his rage. I never expected those kind of words from such a guy. Shiro, think about it. Is this fair? Answer me. I understand, Kazamori. Relax. Shut up, you opportunist. I'm talking to Shiro. Opportunist? Hahaha. Kazamori's words stabbed my heart, and something within me boiled like lava. This isn't fair. I can't hear you. Of course it isn't fair. I'm the one who uncovered it. Why should I be treated like this? I spewed out everything I wanted to say, motivated by Kazamori. Then it's simple then. Kuroda will be back soon. Please, if you do this, it's gonna put me in hot water with the higher-ups. But this is a job for equal opportunity. Let's go, Hiro. Alright, let's solve this case together. Are you guys sure about this? It's not too late to change your mind. He truly was an opportunist who didn't understand our enthusiasm at all. Relax, the main objective of this slew is to support all the other divisions. The more people in the search party, the better. We're going in as part of support staff. Go to the first investigation about this. You should go and at least try to support your team. But it won't be helpful if you go on your own. Somebody started to speak to me while we were walking up the slope of the mountain. He spoke in a surprisingly relaxed tone. What? I'm sorry I yelled at you. An apology? Now that's something I wasn't expecting. Actually, if I remember right, I think I dragged you into that mess. It's okay, you did what I wanted to do. You motivated me and I appreciate it. How's that? This is awkward. Yeah, this is a little awkward now. It's okay, just remember I'm rating your performance, but you can rate mine if you want. What did you just say? I'll be 100 years before you can do that. Hey, can I ask you something? Where did you learn to do all that? What do you mean? You were the one who pointed out Kanaya in all the photos Mizuzu took. Oh, Dad, I think I just got lucky, I guess. It was just like before. How could you say that you're gonna read Kanaya's mind? It's super hard to understand a psycho's mind like Kanaya's. If you think you can't do something like that, then you're just denying your opportunity to achieve it. Such a positive attitude. No, I was just so afraid of being seen as incompetent, that's all. Just like Kanaya. I remember what Kanaya said at his house a few days ago. You're treating me like I'm worthless. This was proof that he had an inferiority complex. No one likes to be hated or loathed. What a dreadful thought, to feel that you're a complete waste of life. You're weird. Don't laugh at me. Saying that you're like Kanaya would mean that you completely understand the psychology of a killer. He was caught off guard by my comeback and I pulled back. Why did you get so quiet? Sorry, but if that was a compliment, it made me feel cold. I said don't laugh at me. Oh, my bad. My compliment made you feel cold. How cute. But that isn't. Don't laugh. Come on, take this seriously. We need to focus, please. The killer's out there somewhere. He could attack at any moment. Okay, alright. So what now? What do you think he's doing? This is just a thought. I think him fleeing into the mountains might have made him scared. He'll probably attack anyone he encounters. Attack? What are you talking about? He can't run forever. You have to avoid being chased. Well, the easiest way would be to kill the hunters. But most of the police here are searching the area. I don't think he can afford to kill them all. For a normal person that would be true, but for Kanaya State, it's far from that. Remember, he's already killed a part of his family. I don't think he'll hesitate to kill again. I could hear him gulp. He must have figured that the overwhelming number of people searching didn't matter at night in the mountains. He's all alone in the dark. There's many people looking for him, but it's gonna be even more difficult to catch him if he starts using guerrilla tactics. Exactly. If he starts attacking the flanks with the fewest number of officers, it's more than likely he could escape from the iron ring of officers. Since he was an internet addict, this would be almost common knowledge for him. He clearly said I can find all sorts of information online. I hope the insanity took away all his useful knowledge. You know, I think you should be getting back. Where did this come from all of a sudden? It's hard watching out for you while we search for him. Don't be foolish. I'm not gonna slow you down. This is not gonna work. I won't be able to stop him if you're here with me because I'm gonna have to protect you as well. And what if you get injured and get an ugly scar? No one would ever want to marry you. Are you worrying about me? Not at all. All I'm saying is because you'll be in a vulnerable position if he attacks us. He's worrying about me. I could feel the warmth in his cold tone. Follow my orders. Go back and send Kuroda back instead. He'll be fine on his own. He's too old for this. He'll definitely be a burden. Well, I'm used to. He stopped suddenly. I also hear a noise nearby. Kazamori gestured me to stay low. I crouched. I looked around, trying to find out where the sound came from. Is Kanaya Hiromu near us? My heart started to beat so hard that I was afraid that he would hear it. But I knew we couldn't solve the situation at hand if we just stayed like this. I should tell Kazamori that we need to locate the killer first. Try to say something. I finally opened my mouth to talk to Kazamori. Do you think he's near us? I'm not sure. I don't think it's a good idea to hide in the darkness like this. Let's move out. Alright. We gotta save Frosty. Okay, this is the time where it really matters the courage to speak. I rose to my feet and stood up slowly. I started to move forward, slowly looking around. We kept on going without saying a word. Kanaya was still nowhere to be seen. He might have not even been near us. Kazamori stopped and looked back. It's really quiet here. When he looked back at me, his face suddenly froze. What's wrong? I turned my head to see what was behind me. Please, no. Why? Something bit me before I could react. Shiro! Hey, Shiro! The beast's foul breath surrounded me. I couldn't move at all, as if all my nerves in my body were suddenly paralyzed by the bite. He tried to suck my blood. I could even hear the filthy sucking sound, and everything started to slowly fade away. I died? What? What is the meaning of this? No way. That's oh no. That's bullshit. Wait, what? How did I die? Is it because I talked? Man, that sucked. Let's move here. Let's save this real quick. Okay, I think I'm gonna continue this another time. The internet's been cutting off recently. I noticed that. And you know, it's a good ending, right? A bad ending. We'll try the other choices next time. Next session. So yeah. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. Yeah.